Dear viewers, welcome once again to Where Next. Today we are going to take you on a journey to a land that has always been shrouded in mystery, history, and endless stories of conquests and culture. A country that once shook the entire world under the hooves of its horsemen, a land that gave birth to an empire stretching from the steppes of Asia to the heart of Europe and even touching the sands of the Arab world. Yes friends, today we are talking about the land of Genghis Khan, the mighty warriors, the endless grasslands, the nomadic traditions, and the cold winds of Central Asia, Mongolia. Over the last few years, thanks to Turkish historical dramas, many of you must have heard the name Mongols again and again. We know them as fierce warriors who lived like gypsies, moving from one place to another with their herds and tents. But history shows us that there was a time when these wandering tribes decided to create a kingdom of their own, and in doing so, they changed the face of the world forever. The Mongol Empire began with just a few mountain tribes who united under the leadership of a man named Temujin, later known to the world as Genghis Khan. He believed that destiny had chosen him to unite the Mongols and conquer the world, and he succeeded in building one of the greatest and most feared empires in human history. His warriors galloped through China, Persia, Russia, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and all the way to Palestine. They became known as the Mongol Storm because wherever they went, they left behind destruction, fire, and blood. Baghdad, which had been the heart of the Islamic world for over 500 years, was reduced to ashes when the Mongols invaded it in 1258. Historians say that so much blood was spilled in the Tigris River that the waters turned red, and the libraries of Baghdad, full of priceless books and knowledge, were thrown into the river until the ink made the waters black. The brutality of the Mongols was unmatched, and yet, within their cruelty was also a strange order. They were the storm of their time, feared by all, but history also tells us that no empire lasts forever. The Mongols too began to decline when Muslims, who had once been devastated by their invasions, learned their tactics and began to fight back. Over time, many Mongol commanders converted to Islam, and after ruling vast lands for nearly 3 centuries, the Mongol Empire dissolved into history. However, the land of Mongolia itself remained untouched by foreign occupation. Unlike many other nations, no outside empire ever truly conquered Mongolia. This land remained free, harsh, and resilient, just like its people. During their empire, the Mongols used 3 different cities as capitals. First was Orga, followed by Karakorum, known in Mongolian as Karkaran, and finally Khanbalik, which today is modern-day Beijing in China. The city of Karakorum was especially significant because it stood along the famous Silk Road. You may have heard of the Karakorum Highway that runs between Pakistan and China. The name itself is connected to the Mongols' Karkaran. The Silk Road connected traders from Europe to Asia, and it passed through Mongolia, making this land not just a battlefield but also a bridge of cultures, goods, and ideas. Now friends, let us leave behind the ancient storms of history and step into the Mongolia of today. Mongolia is an independent country located in East and Central Asia, completely landlocked and surrounded only by 2 giants, Russia to the north and China to the south, east, and west. Kazakhstan lies just 36 kilometers away but does not share a direct border. Mongolia is the second largest landlocked country in the world after Kazakhstan, covering an area of 1.56 million square kilometers. Yet despite its vast size, Mongolia has one of the lowest population densities on Earth, with only about 3.3 million people. That means in some areas, you might travel for hours without seeing another human being. This is why Mongolia is also called the land of eternal blue sky, because the skies stretch endlessly above empty steppes, deserts, and mountains. The capital of Mongolia is Ulaanbaatar, a city of about 1.4 million people, making it home to nearly half of the country's population. Ulaanbaatar is not only the largest city but also one of the coldest capitals in the world. After Astana in Kazakhstan, it is the second coldest capital, with an average temperature of just 1.3 degrees Celsius. Winters here are long, harsh, and brutal, with temperatures often dropping below -30 degrees. Yet the people of Ulaanbaatar live with warmth in their hearts. Proud of their traditions and culture, Mongolia celebrates its National Day on July 11th with the Grand Naadam Festival. This is not just a holiday but the biggest cultural celebration of the year, featuring the 3 manly games of Mongolia: wrestling, horse racing, and archery. These are sports deeply rooted in Mongolian traditions. Wrestling is considered the national sport, but Mongolian horse racing is unlike anywhere else in the world. The riders are not grown men but children as young as 5 or 6 years old, racing horses across distances of up to 30 kilometers. Imagine the strength and bravery of these young riders, who represent the future generation of this nomadic nation. Speaking of horses, did you know that in Mongolia there are more horses than people? It is said that horses here outnumber humans by 13 times, and sheep and goats are 30 times more than humans. This explains why the lifestyle of Mongolians has always been tied to animal herding. Sheep, goats, cows, camels, and horses are the backbone of their livelihood. Even today, nearly 1/3 of the population lives as nomadic herders, moving with their flocks across the vast steppe, living in portable tents called jairs, which are known as yurts in other languages. These jairs can be taken down and rebuilt anywhere, perfectly suited for the nomadic life. Mongolia's land is incredibly diverse. To the north and east are mountains and forests, to the south lies the mighty Gobi Desert, Asia's largest and the world's 5th largest desert. The Gobi is a land of extremes. It can be scorching hot in summer and freezing in winter. Yet it is full of life, home to rare animals like the Bactrian camel, with 2 humps, and even snow leopards in its rugged mountains. Mongolia also has many beautiful lakes, covering about 16,000 square kilometers. Among them, Lake Khövsgöl is the largest and is often called the younger sister of Russia's Lake Baikal. The national drink of Mongolia is arag, made from fermented mare's milk. It is considered healthy for digestion, though its taste can be unusual for outsiders. Hospitality is a cornerstone of Mongolian culture, and when you visit a Mongolian family, they will often offer you arag as a sign of respect and welcome. Refusing it is considered impolite, so tourists often learn to take at least a sip. Religiously, Mongolia is a land of diversity and freedom. About 53% of the population follows Buddhism, particularly Tibetan Buddhism, while 3% are Muslim, mainly among the Kazakh minority in western Mongolia. Shamanism, the ancient spiritual belief of the Mongols, is still practiced by about 3% of the people. Christians and other religions also exist in small numbers, but one of the most striking facts is that nearly 38% of Mongolians do not follow any religion at all. Despite this, freedom of belief is respected, and no one is prevented from practicing their faith. The Mongolian language is spoken by 95% of the population, but Russian, English, German, and Chinese are also understood by some. The national symbols of Mongolia are equally fascinating. The falcon is the national bird, the Mongolian horse the national animal, and the shaman tree the national tree. These symbols reflect the deep connection between Mongolians and nature. For them, the sky is considered their father, and the earth is their mother. This respect for nature is at the heart of their spiritual life. Economically, Mongolia is still developing. Its economy depends heavily on mining, which contributes about 21% of national income, while agriculture makes up 16%. The country has vast reserves of coal, copper, gold, and uranium, which make it attractive to foreign investors. Yet, many Mongolians still depend on livestock and herding for survival. The average income is low compared to developed nations, but the lifestyle is simple and rooted in traditions. Interestingly, the Mongolian tugrik is the currency, and when compared to the Pakistani rupee, 1 rupee equals about 15 tugriks, making it an affordable destination for Pakistani travelers. Tourism in Mongolia has been growing steadily. In 2016, about 400,000 tourists visited Mongolia, and by 2019 the number rose to nearly 600,000 before the global pandemic reduced travel worldwide. Most tourists come from neighboring China and Russia, but Mongolia also attracts visitors from Korea, Japan, and the United States. What draws them here is not luxury or modern attractions, but the raw beauty of untouched landscapes, the chance to live with nomadic families, ride wild horses across the steppes, and sleep under the endless starry skies. For Pakistani travelers, visiting Mongolia is possible through a visa obtained from the Mongolian consulate in Karachi. If you already have a Chinese or Russian visa, you can even enter Mongolia through land borders. The international dialing code is +976, and the time difference is 3 hours ahead of Pakistan. Traveling in Mongolia can be challenging due to its extreme climate. Winters are bitterly cold, and heavy snowstorms can kill not only people but also hundreds of thousands of livestock, as happened in 2008. Summers, however, are mild and pleasant, making them the best season to visit. Mongolia may not have the glamour of Dubai or the modern skyscrapers of Europe, but it has something far more precious: freedom, nature, and authenticity. This is a country where people still value hospitality, where traditions remain alive, where the bond between man, horse, and land is unbreakable. The average Mongolian family has 4 to 5 children, and despite hardships, they live with a sense of pride and joy. Internet penetration is only about 35%, which means much of the country is still disconnected from the digital world. Perhaps this is what keeps Mongolia pure, untouched, and true to its roots. So friends, if you want to see a land where history still whispers in the winds of the steppe, where the legacy of Genghis Khan still echoes in the mountains, where the sunsets paint the sky in colors you have never seen before, then Mongolia is your destination. Come to the land of eternal blue sky, where life is simple, yet full of meaning. Here, the past and present meet in a way that no other country can offer. And with that, we conclude today's journey to Mongolia. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it with your friends and family, press the like button to support us, and subscribe to Where Next so we can take you to more hidden gems of the world.